after drawing these three circle shape, on top of each ornament, there is a part, something like that. So we can bring the ornament a little bit like a cylinder on top for each of them, a tiny bit. And even we don't need this part, so we can erase it. The reason I prefer to have light drawing, not really dark, because we always need to erase the part, and when we draw it very dark, it's not possible. So it's better you draw very light. I will do dark because of I would like it visible. So the bottom part is like just this shape, and then on the top, the regular shape, there is a oval, like a hanger wheel on top of it. And then the other one the same. We need a little bit water to add. So this is permanent red. We need to have it. We need two permanent red. One should be a little bit more watery, more runny, because of the light value that we see here. And the other is dark value. So I go with the same red, but with no water. I just use the wet brush, and this is that one, which is darker. The third one is the dark or shadow part. So I'm going to add the red. And then I will go with alizarin crimson or even permanent rose. Any dark rose color you have would be good. A little bit warmer red and darker one. Even if you don't have any alizarin crimson or permanent red, just a tiny bit purple would be helpful to make it darker. And then clean the brush, just a bit cobalt blue. Mix with it and make the red a little darker. I think cobalt better than brown. I prefer to make it dark with blue color. Yes, that's better. This is the darker tone for shadow. The circly part. I make it wet to have a shine on top, not more than that, not really runny. Just wet it a little bit. And then the first color is this lighter tone with more water. I keep the center more white and add around it with this light color of red. Even we can cover whole the ornament with this light tone. And please have a napkin on your hand, because most of the time it's so useful to lift up some paint with that. So I'm going to add a little light tone. The first layer, my red was so watery. Because of that, it's so light. Just a bit wait. The paper gets just a bit dry. I don't want to have another tone to move it into the white part. I would like to keep that white as a paper. Even if the colors move inside, I can make it clean by napkin. A little bit. Yeah. And then without any water, I switch to the red color that I use it pure with less water, and try to cover whole the edge of ornament with that. It's better to have a wet paper because it's very gently, dark red can move into lighter tone. And then very gently bring it close to, we need to keep that light part till here, that would be fine. Even if you see the difference between light and dark, clean the brush very well. Make a little bit dry, just let it pass from these edges. So we can help light and dark fade together a little bit. Even we can lift up one part from the end of the ornament to make it lighter. Because of the light, yellow light, I would like to bring it, just lift up a little bit. And we move on toward the shadow. The shadow should be really less water inside because we work as a layers on top of ornament. The first layer, it's okay to be wet. The second layer, not watery. The third layer should be no water at all. It should be dry. The third, I mean the dark and shadow one. Even if it's watery, you can reduce the amount of water by napkin like this. Touch with napkin. And very gently, one stroke pass from the side and under the hanger, even the left side actually. We need to pass with one brush stroke to make the shadow on top. Just a little bit we can add on the right side as well. And then leave it get completely dry. It's a little bit wet still, so they help with the water. It's passed from the red part and it's moving to the other, so it would be okay. Even I'm not happy with these edges from the light and the dark. I clean my brush, add a little red color, try to add to the edges with this red. Yep, that's better. Then clean the brush. It's dry, so I try to get rid of the edges and help it fade just by touching the edge like that. You help it fade a little bit to the lighter tone. Bring the yellow color, warm yellow, any warm yellow you have would be okay. Cover whole the ornament with this warm yellow, but please keep this part as a light, as the white of the paper. Don't add anything inside this part. Just make yellow all the part of ornament without this part as a light. Even if you add on this part, it's okay. With the napkin, you can clean it and bring it to the light of the paper. And then please not let it dry. Mix yellow with red, or even if you have orange, you can use orange. If not, mix yellow with red. I use very less water. I don't add any water. Just my brush is wet, that's fine. And then I will bring one stroke on this part. It's something a little bit dry brush on top of the wet surface because I wet the paper first. And just with the tip of brush, you can move one brush stroke here as a curve. And then this is the orangey color for the reflection of that ornament and even the shadow part of this one. Then without any color to add, any water even, clean the brush, mix red and this color that we make the shadow with it, reddish, sorry, not reddish brown, alizarin crimson with warm red and blue, make shadow. Reduce the amount of water inside the brush by napkin like that, because here should be dry, not really wet. And just with tip of brush, it can be small brush or the big one, just a tip. One stroke as a shadow, one stroke here. And just like a curved line, you can draw one curve with this dark color, bring it here, like on the center, and then move it toward the right part. Or even we can draw the line of the edge and draw the line of this part of right part of the edge as well, and even bottom part. So I just, before move on to the other one, I want to show you how you can fix it. I made a mistake that I just make wet one part. We should do whole the part, not just one part, because the watermark create. So now I back again. If the ornament be really dark, it's better not to do that. But still I can one layer a little bit make it darker, so it's okay because it's not really dark. Very gently, a little bit wet. Very gently, one time I pass from this ornament and make it wet all the circly part. And then with less water in my brush, take the red color that I want. I cover again whole this ornament because I would like to get rid of the watermark right now. And I try not to come inside the white part. I just keep it be completely white. Clean the brush with the clean water. Control it with napkin. You don't have to do that. My painting has watermark. I just want to show you if something happened in your watercolor anytime, you can back and fix it. Now again, I would like to make the dark one. So lift up this part because it should be yellow. And now again, back to alizarin crimson and the blue color for the darkness. Very light, control with napkin. I want to have less water inside, then I can make a shadow on top. Add one stroke here. And then one stroke here for the shadow. So again, I repeat this part. But now it's a little bit darker than the first layer. We have light green. If you have that would be okay. If not any dark green, you can mix with the yellow and bring the light value of green. One is should be this color, so light. And the other green, it's better to be like sap green or even hooker green, that a little warmer. Add a drop of water into that to make it light. And then the other is blue color. For now, I would like to go with light blue, like cerulean blue or any light blue you have would be okay like that. Add a drop of water and make that ready. Diluted the brush and then very easily bring it here and move it randomly like that. And I prefer to go like this for now. So light would be. And then enough water because it takes time to this water get dry. We can bring another dark tone on top even at the same time. Make some tone here. But I'm not going to cover whole the paper with this light tone. I would like to have the edges white as a paper. Even if you don't like the edges like that on top, please clean the brush very well. With the light color, you can get rid of it. Just clean it with the water. No paint should be in your brush. Just lift up some paint like that. And then you can reduce these edges. So it's fade to your paper very well. And then move on to the blue. Then continue here with the blue and randomly move your stroke Please not cover whole the paper. Even if you see that it's a lots of color, you can lift up with the napkin. Because it's wet, easily you can clean it. And I move on more with light value of blue for here, left side. Make sure to have light of the paper and white of the paper, not cover everywhere. It's more interesting to have the edges completely white as a paper. Now I would like to show the drop of water. More water in my brush, adding stroke here, and then try to continue with this watery brush mark like that. Even here, it's so much water inside the brush, and easily you can follow and bring it down. Or even move it to the warmer green. Just some stroke would be interesting to have. Bring it down. Play with the brush stroke a little bit. And I would like to add a little yellow ochre on the other side here. More yellow ochre. I can go with this green, it's Viridian green. And then we will go by ultramarine blue. Add a little bit ultramarine blue. It's so cool green. You need warm green. Because of that, add a drop of water into the brown, dark brown. Doesn't matter, Van Dyke or burnt sienna or burnt umber. Both are fine. Then you can make the dark green color and warm green actually. So with the blue, make it dark and cool. With brown, we will make it warm. This is a good green color we need to have. Dilute my brush into this dark color. And then with the tip of brush, I would like to add one line, connect from the top of the paper close to this ornament. A little bit thick would be okay. Connecting exactly like this. Even we can have some pink to make it more dark. And with the tip, I just go to shape. And it's better not to be really wet. It's better to be dry to make these details on top. and use the tip of brush. And then imagine this is one line pass from here and connect some separate leaves. It's like country, I think. I don't know exactly the name of the leaves of country or something like that. It's Christmas tree. With whole brush, you can draw that. With a tip, put it on a paper, then lay down, hold the belly of brush, and then bring it up. So top and the bottom should be narrow. Tip of the brush, lay it down, it gets fat, and then bring it up. So the tip is more narrow, the bottom part is narrow too. Then the other part here, you can have small or big, or even some busy here randomly you can add, like that. It can be narrow, make it busy more like this, and then bring it to top of the ornament. Randomly, please add some tone here. Or even we can make a little tone on the bottom part as a leaf, something like that here. But I make it lighter, this one. So I add more water, make it lighter for this section. And separate those with this movement like that. But for the top part, it's darker. I just randomly add some darkness. Again, I can back, dark color. Because when you bring it darker tone, already the first layer is lighter and then the darker will come on top and make two value for you. with napkin or paper. It's better everything be dry. Just cover it, not to move on the other part. And then with the brush, make a little bit diluted into the paint. Not so much water, a little bit. And then with another brush, you can take on in your hand and then spread some paint on top. It's so interesting, this technique, and it's so useful. Even on top, we can add a little bit. I would like to go with the other color, which is greeny. It depends how much water in your paint. It can spread some circle bigger or smaller. You can make a little busy or less. It depends. If you like more, you can add more. Just a tiny bit I would like to add here too. And again, the green one, it should be more watery to spread. Then let me check what happened. Yep, we can have some here, there, and on top. Even if you like more, you can add more here on the bottom part to make it more busy. It's better to do with acrylic brush because acrylic has glue inside, and most of the time damage the brush, the watercolor brush, but it's okay if you don't have it. You can use the watercolor brush, but make sure to clean it so fast. The same technique, add a drop of water into the paint and into the white color of acrylic. Gouache is better. If you have gouaches, would be better. But if not, acrylic would be okay. A little wet like this. Add more water, dilute your brush into that. And then I would like to add some white of acrylic on top of my painting. It's okay how much you would like, you can add more or less. And then with the bigger one on the tip of brush, you can make a little bit more details. Oh, sorry, it's so watery, it doesn't need. If some is a big, you can draw some details like 4 lines around and make it like a star, like that. But it shouldn't be watery this time. It should be less water, more pigment, and add more details here. Even inside this, a little bigger, circly, and bring 1 line, 2, 3, 4, same as star around it, and make it so shiny. Even we can add a little here.